Hunter Biden will plead guilty for a few crimes. I will get into them. Likely avoiding, however, any jail time, contrary to his father's, well, let's say, sentiment. There's a lot here. All right, let's put up the picture full mass. Hunter Biden, who, by the way, holds no political position, has zero government power, is pleading guilty to something that Donald Trump admitted to doing, evading taxes. Hunter Biden, the son of President Joe Biden, has agreed to plead guilty to 2 federal charges, 2 tax misdemeanors, and will enter a diversion program related to an additional gun charge. President Biden's son, Hunter Biden, has reached a tentative agreement with federal prosecutors to plead guilty to these minor tax crimes and admit to the fact of a gun charge under terms that would likely keep him out of jail. That's according to court papers filed on Tuesday. Now, the fascination connected to Hunter Biden from the right has to do with his crack addiction. Here it is.
So I just weighed out the bag. It's 2.06.
2.07 without the bag.
How long is
2.0?
Hunter Biden smokes crack. I hope he's getting the help he needs. Honestly, had absolutely nothing to do with me nor the public. But there is an interesting dynamic here. Many on the right said, well, Hunter Biden, he's going to get away with being held accountable because of his father. No. That's what Trump would do, okay? He's being investigated and charged, and maybe there are more charges in his future. Who knows? The current president of the United States is also under investigation. President Biden is under investigation for mishandling classified documents as well. The difference? You don't hear stories about President Biden trying to influence the outcome of the investigation, not with himself, nor with his son. But it is interesting to note that it was President Biden, back then Senator Biden, who said if a person is caught with crack, here's what should happen. Here it is.
If you have a piece of crack cocaine, no bigger than this quarter that I'm holding in my hand, 1/4 of $1. We passed a law through the leadership of Senator Thurmond and myself and others, a law that says if you're caught with that, you go to jail for 5 years.
Now, the most dangerous element here is the policy dynamic of what Biden said, not the fact that Hunter Biden smoked crack at a point in his life. The sentiment held today by Biden, at least publicly, is contrary to the sentiment he held back then. At least that's what he will say. But I will tell you a major crime that was committed during a former president's tenure. Here it is.
Last weekend, we got new details on how Jared Kushner, the ex-president, benefited from Saudi money since leaving the White House. Kushner, who had cozy relations with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and led the push for his father-in-law to prioritize a relationship with the Saudis, including making it the first foreign trip, received $2 billion from a fund chaired by the Crown Prince known as MBS. Nice work if you can get it. The ex-president also benefited from Saudi-backed tournaments at his golf course and a Saudi real estate company's agreement to build a Trump hotel in Oman. Sounds like a perfect opportunity for the House Oversight Committee to investigate whether a former president, his senior White House advisor, peddled government access to enrich themselves, something that committee chairman James Comer was asked about Sunday.
It's a $2 billion investment in Kushner's funds from the Saudis. We know the former President Trump's has also received funds related to the Saudi golf tour. Senator Ron Wyden says these financial entanglements deserve investigation. Will you be investigating that as well?
I think everything's on the table. Look, we're investigating Joe Biden.
I had that same laugh at the end of that. You see, here's the thing. policy actually permeates to the culture at large. The fact that Hunter Biden had an addiction, well, that's a mental health disorder. He needs help. It is ironic, however, that when crack was particularly an issue in the Black community, the sentiment was, you're a criminal. Once opioids started to invite themselves to white communities, all of a sudden we have patients. They need medical help. We contextualize it as a mental health dynamic. The reality is it all should have been a mental health dynamic. There never should have been a polarized conversation. It should have been a nuanced conversation about getting people the treatment, the help they need. So here we are. Former president of the United States has admitted to tax evasion on multiple occasions, bragged about it, said he was a smart man for doing so, refused to release any of his tax information voluntarily, something that every modern president has done in this nation. While you have one issue of a son of a current president pleading guilty to a misdemeanor, you have a former president himself who has admitted to felonies as it relates to tax evasion, and there's no charge there. All right, so the saga, Sharon, is probably over as it relates to Hunter Biden and his legal troubles. But once again, I submit, Hunter Biden was never in charge of any of my money as a taxpayer and no government operation, contrary to Kushner, who was a senior advisor, and Trump, who was president of the United States. What say you?
I say, what did we really learn here, Doc? And as usual, you are spot on. Hunter Biden probably wouldn't even have gotten caught for these things had he not been under extreme scrutiny with these lies and bribery being thrown around and that and the like. I also learned he's a bit of a G. Okay, Hunter's a bit of a G. They had their hands full with him. But you're right. It's the difference between accountability and empathy. That's the one thing that did come out of this. And hopefully you live, you learn. And now President Biden has a different outlook on people who just need help, no matter what color they are.
That's right. Very well said.